Trey Hendrickson's situation has gone beyond a simple contract dispute and turned into a strategic standoff between player and franchise. Behind the scenes, the edge rusher has made it clear he does not feel properly valued by the Cincinnati Bengals after multiple elite-level seasons. For a player who has established himself among the best at his position, lack of long-term commitment weighs just as heavily as sacks and pressures. From the Bengals' perspective, the approach is purely pragmatic. Letting a player of Hendrickson's caliber walk away for nothing would be a structural mistake, especially for a team still trying to sustain its competitive window. The franchise tag becomes a tool of leverage, not necessarily a final solution, but a way to retain control over the situation. This creates a gray area where Hendrickson may not want to stay, but Cincinnati is equally unwilling to concede ground. The result is a stalemate that directly affects the market, turning what could have been a clean free agent pursuit into a costly asset tied to trades and a massive new contract. The franchise tag completely reshapes the dynamics of any potential deal. Instead of competing for Hendrickson with money alone, interested teams would first need to surrender draft capital before even negotiating a lucrative long-term contract. That raises the total cost of the move and immediately eliminates teams operating with tight cap structures or long-term rebuild plans. The tag-and-trade option also gives the Bengals control over timing and terms. Cincinnati can wait for the strongest offer, take advantage of teams desperate for pass rush help, and still keep the option open to retain Hendrickson for another year if the market fails to meet expectations. For potential suitors, this introduces risk into defensive planning. Acquiring Hendrickson now requires more than technical evaluation. It demands strategic conviction. Few players justify sacrificing premium draft picks while committing significant cap space in the same move, and that is exactly where the dilemma lies. For the Green Bay Packers, everything hinges on Rashawn Gary. If the team decides to move on from him, Hendrickson becomes a near-perfect replacement, offering proven production and immediate impact. The challenge is whether Green Bay is willing to trade future flexibility for an expensive veteran solution. The Dallas Cowboys face an even more visible problem. Since the departure of Micah Parsons, the pass rush has lost its identity and late-game reliability. Hendrickson would address that issue right away, but the cost of acquiring him clashes with the broader need to stabilize and reshape the roster after several aggressive decisions. The San Francisco 49ers present a different contradiction. Despite having defensive talent, they finished near the bottom of the league in sacks last season. Hendrickson would be an ideal complement to elevate the front, but making another major investment along the defensive line could strain an already expensive roster. Trey Hendrickson is not just another available name. He represents a stress test for franchises chasing immediate defensive impact. His presence alters protection schemes, forces offenses to adjust, and changes how coordinators call games. Players with that kind of influence rarely reach the market without strings attached. The issue is that the current context turns opportunity into calculated risk. The franchise tag acts as a toll gate, discouraging hesitant teams and challenging those who believe they are one piece away from contention. In the end, the rumors are bad news not because Hendrickson has lost value, but because his value is so high that the path to acquiring him has become narrow, expensive, and politically complex. For the Cowboys, Packers, and 49ers, the real question is not whether Hendrickson helps. It's whether the price of entry matches the impact he promises.